Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 74 of a weekly gaming news show. Today is Sunday, November 12th, 2017. I'm here as always with Trenell, and we got some news to talk about today.
Yes, indeed. It's another Sunday. I feel like we just left you guys.
Yeah.
Because we were here on Tuesday. So the next show, and this always happens when we have like an off week, the next show is going to feel like we haven't talked to you guys in forever.
Right. Right.
But welcome back to the show. This is the podcast where two seasoned gaming playing veterans talk about the week's news. And before we get into that, we have our weekly icebreaker, of course. And the weekly icebreaker is just a question that we like to ask between each other to get a sense of where we are on certain gaming topics normally. But this week, we kind of want to change it up a little bit because there was a major development in the world of entertainment media.
This
is a big one, so we want to talk about it. So I'll let you go ahead and take the reins on this one, Boogie. What's the weekly icebreaker for this week?
So you and I both are Marvel fans. We like the action movies, and you just want to saw Thor. I haven't had a chance yet, but believe you me, I will go see that movie.
It's pretty good.
So in the news, it's been reported in the business news, CNBC, Bloomberg, all those big guys. But there's a rumor that Disney is looking to purchase 21st Century Fox. And if you're, they used to be 20th Century Fox, as the time ticked over, they changed it to 21st Century, whatever.
Right.
But if you're unfamiliar, they are the ones who control Marvel's X-Men, Fantastic Four, The Incredible Hulk, and what's the other one? And mutants. That's why.
Daredevil. Not Daredevil. Deadpool. Yeah.
That's right. And also the terminology mutants. That's why
Mm-hmm.
all of the Marvel stuff they're called Inhumans or Enhanced. They're not called mutants because that's owned by Fox. And the way Marvel signed to deal with Fox is as long as Fox puts out a movie every so years, they own the rights in perpetuity. That's why you got that crappy Fantastic Four movie.
Right.
That's why they constantly put out X-Men crap. I mean, well,
Logan was dope.
the last couple of X-Men's were pretty good. Even though the Apocalypse wasn't too bad.
Wasn't that bad.
But that's why you'll see Fox throw out a Marvel movie every so often, even though it may not be the best, because they want to maintain those rights.
Right.
And Disney, who actually owns Marvel, they brought Marvel. They own pretty much everything except for the X-Men and Spider-Man, I think.
Well, I mean, they own the character rights, and they can like make comic books and all that kind of stuff, but they do not own the movie or television rights to those characters, and they can't, like you said, they can't use the term mutant in any movie outside of like a Fox production.
Right. And so the rumor is Disney's looking to buy Fox, 21st Century Fox. I mean, it ranges from them buying all of Fox, including Fox News and blah, 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 to them just buying the properties. Now, it doesn't make any sense for them to buy all of Fox, because that means they'll buy all of the Fox networks. They won't buy They won't buy the affiliates, but they own all the Fox networks, which would include Fox News, Fox, FX, FXX.
Well, I think FX falls under 21st Century, though.
Yeah, it does. FX and FXX falls under 21st Century.
Going into like more of a like expanded like story as far as like the Infinity Gems or the Infinity War. That includes a lot of characters.
Right. I think. I think it's less than. I think that's part of it. I think two things are really motivating this. The first is that they're closing season one or the first arc of the Marvel cinematic universe is coming to a close, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
After Infinity War 2, is gonna start over for whatever the next story arc is going to be. And then secondly is that next year Disney is launching their own streaming service to compete directly with the Netflixes and the Hulus. Right. So if they can get all this content, because remember, it's not only the movies going forward, but it's going to be the back catalog, right? So all of the old X-Men movies, all of the old Fantastic Four movies, the TV shows, all of that stuff that's currently out of their grasp, they can now bring that over and stick it into that streaming service that they're going to be launching, as well as continue on making, new content.
Right, and that's primarily what I'm thinking like towards is the new content going forward. They want to make X-Men movies. They want to make Fantastic Four movies. I mean, even in the comic books, they tried and failed to fade the X-Men out.
Yeah,
you can't fade the X-Men out. They are way too prominent, way too popular.
And that the X-Men were Marvel. I mean,
for a long time.
If you look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, most of all the characters that they're using are second and third tier characters. Iron Man wasn't a top tier character.
No, not initially. No,
Thor wasn't. Captain America, a long time ago he was, but he had fallen by the wayside. And beyond that, even like Captain America's Civil War, how great it was. The Civil War was between the Avengers and X-Men.
Man. Yeah, the Civil War was a way more massive of a tale, and it included a lot more characters.
Right, a lot of the X-Men, a lot of the Avengers, and some X-Men left the X-Men and joined the Avengers, and vice versa because of the Warren side. So,
right,
it makes a lot of sense. I have been waiting for Disney to probably pull that trigger, because the way Disney, I mean, they print money. They got Star Wars.
Oh my God!
They got Star Wars print press. They got all of the Pixar stuff. They
Pockets is deep.
Disneyland, ESPN, ABC, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, look at how well Thor did this weekend. The past 2 weekends. I mean, it's killing it. So they definitely have the money. That's not a question. It's just whether 21st Century Fox was willing to play ball, and it looks like they may be at this point.
Right. And another question is this a total buyout, or is this the same thing with Sony and Spider-Man? Because Sony did not give up the rights to Spider-Man. They just allowed for Marvel to make Spider-Man movies.
From what I've read, and I've read a couple of these, I've read the Bloomberg article, and I read, it wasn't CNBC, it's another one of these guys. I can't remember who it was, Tech Insider maybe, I forgot. But I read a couple of articles, and from what they were saying is that Disney doesn't want anything to do with Fox's TV stuff. They just want 21st Century Fox and the IPs. So basically, they want 21st Century Fox. They want all of the movie rights to, the Marvel,
Fantastic Four,
the Marvel stuff, Fantastic Four, Legion, and believe it or not, Fox owns the rights to one of the Star Wars movies, the original Star Wars, Star Wars Episode 4. That's Fox, 21st Century Fox.
Oh, that is. I remember that.
That's right. So they want all of that stuff in-house. They want to finish the Star Wars collection, get all of their Marvel stuff back. They essentially got it back from Sony. They have to give Sony a cut of the profits for any Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, and then Sony can also still make their own Spider-Man themed movie, like because with the Venom movie coming out. I think it's gonna flop, dude.
Yeah, Sony's been bad with the superhero movies. I mean, it's in their best interest just to let Marvel run with it and just collect the royalties and be done with it that way. But I'm actually kind of excited. I hope that Disney can complete this sale and bring all of the characters under one house, because if anything, the Marvel Studios makes great movies. There's not been a bad movie. Even the movies that they say were bad Marvel movies were far better than any of the other superhero movies that were made by other studios. So.
Yeah. They just need to give the Marvel characters back over to Marvel and let that production studio produce movies, because I mean, the superhero movie genre is not going anywhere. We have movies planned out to 2025, and it doesn't. Right. Yeah, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be slowing down. So, go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish.
No, I would say I think it's in Fox's best interest to just either, accept the sale and, sell over the characters, than to spend money making movies that are going to be critically panned.
Nobody's going to watch. I mean, like you said, Logan, the last Logan movie was pretty good. But
I love that movie.
The last Logan movie, it was basically the director, and I forget his name, but he basically said, hey, look, listen, Fox executive, stay the hell away from us. We're going to make this movie, and then you can collect the money off of it. That's basically what they said. And
let me make you rich.
That's how they got that movie out the way it was. Because, otherwise, we saw what Fox did. Remember with the original Wolverine?
God.
And that debacle of Deadpool? What the hell? how can you sew Deadpool's mouth shut? His
Yeah.
whole stick is he's mouthy. That makes no sense.
That made absolutely no sense. But yeah, it seems like when the Fox executives are not in the way, they can actually get some really good things out there. But I mean, just think of how much better it could be in the hands of the original creators, or in the hands of the studio and the teams that know these characters inside and out.
Somebody that really cares about them. I mean, because the staff at Marvel Studios, they really care about these characters and they care about the properties. You can tell by the product they put out. And
even without the Fantastic Four and X-Men, they have somewhat stayed close to the source material. They haven't strayed too far away. They've made some really good. I mean, they made me into a fan of Ant-Man. Like I didn't like Ant-Man before the movie, but that movie was good. The Doctor Strange movie was good. I'm looking forward to the Black Panther movie.
Oh man, oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Yo, that cast, my boy.
Oh man, I can't wait. But see, and again, that's back to what we were saying earlier. All of these characters, Ant-Man, Black Panther, all of those were secondary, third characters. Yeah. Even some niche characters. Black Panther and Ant-Man were niche characters. Yeah. I mean, Ant-Man originally started the Avengers, but I mean, after they kind of wrote him out of that decades ago, and nothing has really been heard from him. But it's cool. I'm happy to see it, and hopefully we can get rid of that debacle TV show that they call Inhumans. That is a horrible TV show.
I haven't even watched it.
Yeah, don't.
I'm not. I am not a fan of what they're trying to do with the Inhumans, which is basically replace the X-Men.
Right.
It's like anywhere that I go inside of a store or a mall, I look at like a Marvel Collective T-shirt, like a whole bunch of characters, and they got the freaking Inhumans. I'm like, don't nobody care about the fucking Inhumans, man. Like the only two Inhumans that are somewhat popular are Black Bolt, which is the leader, and Lockjaw, which is the dog that can teleport.
Yep.
That's the only two that anybody ever knows that doesn't like actively read the comics. And I don't know, they try to bolster their ranks and like make them the new like superhuman, like super mutant team. Like, nah, man, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, it's their bid to replace the X-Men because they don't have the X-Men, and it's
but if they can get them back, just think like there's gonna be some cool movies. My only thing is it's gonna suck that they're probably most likely gonna recast everything. And we won't have the team that we had in the last couple of movies.
Well, that's got to be coming anyway because a lot of these guys are old. They've been doing that, especially like what's his name, Wolverine.
No, he's done. So I'm talking about the younger cast.
Oh, you're talking about for like the X-Men, the new X-Men.
Yeah.
I can't think of any of those guys' names, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I know they're coming out with the Phoenix. The Phoenix movie is next up. But that if it's not already canceled after this acquisition takes place, this could be the last time we see that group of individuals playing those characters.
To be quite honest, outside of Magneto, and I can't think of his name. I know he's right on the tip of my tongue. Everybody knows this fool, but I can't think of his name. Outside of him, I didn't think any of the other characters were that memorable. Like the cast of the characters, I didn't think Sophie Turner as Phoenix. I can't deal with her as the Phoenix because she was so annoying in Game of Thrones. All I can think about is the first 3 or 4 seasons. Like the last 2 seasons, she's been beasting. But before that, I can't get past her little whiny. I can't deal with it. So,
That's pretty funny.
I can't see her as the Phoenix.
I don't know. I think we got some pretty cool characters to come out of that. Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique had to be one of the best decisions. I thought she was pretty good as that character.
She was pretty good as a character, but I didn't like her in the role. I don't know. I'm not a Jennifer Lawrence fan either.
But Magneto was definitely the shining star, dude. That guy played him some Magneto. I love that guy.
What is his name? Oh, I wish I knew, because he plays a lot of stuff. I like him a lot.
Yeah,
he was in the Alien, the Killer Robot in Alien Covenant. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see Covenant. Yeah, no, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I can't think of
the android dude.
Yeah.
But let us know what you guys think. Are you excited about this? Is this something that you want to happen, or is Disney's reach just going a little too far for you? Let us know down in the comments what you think about this. And if you want to ask us any questions, you can do so via our social media. Just use the hashtag Weekly Icebreaker and ask us a question. And if you're lucky, it will get answered and discussed during the podcast. But let's go ahead and move on to the next segment. And that is going to be the quick hits. And the quick hits are some rapid fire stories that we need to talk about with you guys, but don't necessarily deserve a deep dive. So let's go ahead and get into the first one. Boogie, what do we have?
We're going to talk about IO Interactive. The only reason I really bring this up is because we talked about them getting basically booted out of Square Enix's publishing.
Pretty
rights.
Much after the, I guess, subpar sales of the recent Hitman game.
Hitman, yeah. It didn't perform the way Square Enix wanted, so they let them go. But they let them have the Hitman IP,
which was awesome.
Right. So IO just released, or they were going to be releasing the the collector's edition, Game of the Year edition of Hitman, with all of the seasons, with all of the season content, all in one package as they do. But upon that news, they also threw on top of it that a new Hitman is coming. They said there's not much more to talk about until 2018, so I'm expecting to see it at E3, right?
Right.
But yeah, they're going to be releasing a new Hitman, so they are going to be the Hitman studio. They're not going away, which is cool. I'm hopefully that it's successful. For all accounts I've heard is that this Hitman was a really good Hitman. It just wasn't. It was critically acclaimed. It just wasn't. Didn't sell as well.
I heard that it had a pretty rough start because of like how they did like the episodic content,
right?
And then when it came to some of the contracts, they were time sensitive. So like if you missed that contract, it was gone. No, it was gone. It was like one time only type thing.
Yeah, you couldn't go. There's no way for you to come back and get it. And it didn't recycle.
Yeah, it didn't recycle. So I heard those were some of the some of the things some of the complaints that I heard about the game. But other than that, this was probably like the best one so far. And
I think that was more of a hook to get you to come back. Make sure you're coming back and playing at least once a week. That was the complaint. It's like, if they hook you, you have to come and play at least this amount of once a week, or I think that's when the contract they expired every week.
You
had to come back before the date of the expiration to do that contract, or you couldn't get it and you were missing stuff. I don't like that model. I don't mind if it's on a cycle, like every once a month it shows up. Like if it goes away, you got to wait another month for it. But for it to just forever, I think that's a bad idea. I wonder if that was not more of a Square Enix thing to try to push microtransactions as opposed to just IO and how they wanted to design the game.
Well, I know that the episodic idea was definitely a product of Square Enix because they wanted to delay the game and release it as one big game, but they needed to get it out early, so then they started releasing it in episodes. So I know that was a product of Square Enix. I'm not sure about the contracts or like the weekly contracts or whatever, but I don't know. I've dabbled in the Hitman series. I think I played the Absolution or something like that. That might have been the previous one, but I think. It's never really been my thing, but the people that like it, they love it. And I said this last time when we were talking about them being released from Square. It was good on them to allow them to keep the intellectual property. Yeah. Do they have a publisher, or are they just an independent developer now?
Right now they're independent. I don't know of any publisher for them right now.
All right. Well, as long as they are able to make the game that they want to make, which seems to be what their fans enjoy, I'm all for it. This is nothing but a good thing for me.
Exactly. I agree. And like I've said before, good luck to them.
Yeah, definitely.
Hitman is not a game. I think the Hitman I played was on PlayStation 2. It's that old. And I haven't. I didn't like it then, and it's not because I thought it was a horrible game. It's just not the type of game I was interested in at the time.
I'm just bad at it. I keep getting caught.
I'm not a big fan of the stealth kill games. I'm not. That's one of my issues with Metal Gear. That's why I don't mess with that. So good for them and good luck. And I'll be interested to see what they have coming down the road.
Yeah. They said we won't see nothing until next year. So here's to a healthy development cycle. Let's go to the next story. What we got?
The next story, we got Mara. I'm going to keep calling her Mara. I've heard people say Mora. I'm going to say Mara just because of my personal experience. But Mara is actually live as of this past Monday on the PTR, the public test room, as well as the Blizzard, the new map. what's it, Blizzard
Blizzard Land.
Yeah. So they're both live on the PTR right now, and apparently there's a weekend, free weekend going up next week, and it's rumored that she will be live for the free weekend.
Okay.
So we'll see if she actually comes out live and we can play and she's playable within. On the consoles and everything coming up, but yeah, she's live now. She's gotten some mixed reviews. I've heard that she's fairly difficult to use, but once you figure her out, she can be a stalwart and turn the tide for your team.
Okay, yeah. Still haven't touched the game. Still need to do that one of these days.
Yeah, you haven't touched Orisa. You haven't touched
Doomfist. I'm slacking, man. I am slacking on some Overwatch. To this day, I keep saying this is probably one of the best games that I just don't play.
I still dabble in it, not as much as I had, but I got Destiny and I'm going to start my Assassin's Creed here soon. So.
Oh, you picked it up?
Oh yeah, I got it on release pre-order.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it the other day. I'm like 7-8 hours in. It's good.
Assassin's Creed already?
Yeah.
I haven't touched it. I haven't touched it yet. You know how I do.
It's fucking huge. All right, back on topic.
Right.
It's a massive game. But yeah, I have to pick that game up so I can get my hands on some of these new characters, man. Yeah. They look fun
now because people have migrated away from them.
Right.
So
let's move on to the next one. What we got?
We got some lawsuits coming up here. So we got AM General. AM General is the maker of Humvee versus Activision.
Oh Lord.
So AM General is pretty upset with Activision and their unlicensed use of Hummers, Humvees, and the logos in Call of Duty games. And they filed suit in U.S. District Court in Manhattan, claiming copyright or trademark infringement. And they're looking for damages, like triple damages. They're looking for, hold on, I have everything here. Here we are. They're looking for compensatory, punitive, and triple damages from Activision for breaking the trademark or violating their trademark. Apparently, Activision has been using Hummers, Humvees in the game without permission. They didn't license it. And as EA found out in Battlefield, I want to say Battlefield, what is the one with the dudes?
The one with the dudes.
not Battlefield 2, but the one that first started using the Frostbite engine with destructible.
That was 4. No, Bad Company?
Yeah, Bad Company, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was Bad Company where Activision got in trouble for using it. This was the helicopters. They got in trouble
the Blackhawks.
Yeah, they got in trouble for using helicopters without licensing it. But it'd be interesting to see what happens. I don't know. I mean, trademark. Obviously, AM General and Humvee is a known trademark. Everybody knows Humvee is owned by AM General. There's no question about that. I'm sure they've protected that trademark by keeping it registered and current. And right. If Activision and Infinity Ward and whoever else has been using this without their permission and without the proper licensing, they're going to have to pay. They're going to have to pay for it.
So my question is it just for the most recent games or
no,
like
all of them?
Because I'm like, man, they've been using Humvees forever.
Yep. The lawsuit specifically said in the Call of Duty series.
Oh wow.
So they're going to ding them for every Humvee that was shown in any Call of Duty game.
Oh man, yep. Oh, that's money right there.
Yeah.
Because I was about to say, it was like, are they just doing this now, or is it?
Yeah, it's odd that they're doing it now. My guess is maybe they've been trying to negotiate with Activision, and negotiations didn't go well. This could just be a negotiation tactic, saying, "Hey, look, this is what we want." Activision's like, "No, we're going to give you that," and they said, "Well, we'll just sue you, and we'll get what we want plus more." So, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I'm actually very curious to see how that goes. We'll keep you in the loop.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this one.
Keep an eye on it. All right, what we got next?
And the last one, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming to Injustice 2.
Oh my goodness, dude! When I saw this, I couldn't help but smile because a lot of people were assuming that the next character in the character pack 3 would either be like a Spawn or like Melina or something like that, because I believe on Twitter they like teased the Psy or something like that.
Right.
Ed Boon is the trolliest troll who ever trolled. But in the trailer you get to see Adam, who they had already announced.
Yep.
Along with Enchantress, which is a character that they hadn't shown off yet. So they showed them two, they're battling, and then out of nowhere, a freaking Psy just like enters the scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking like, oh snap, it's a Psy, it's Melina, let's go. And then Raphael, freaking in his patented trench coat, just like walks through the New York City gutters and is just like, yo, the turtles are in here, my boy. And like 90s kids just rejoiced at that, because that was probably one of the most awesome things I've ever seen. And Injustice 2 is just turning into like a fanboy's like wet dream out here, because they have like so many characters. I mean, in the season 3 pack, we have or was Hellboy in the season 2 pack?
Hellboy was the last in season 2.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we just got Hellboy with the last season 2 pack, and now we're gonna get the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in pack 3. So this is just freaking awesome, man. I can't say anything else about it except that it's just freaking awesome.
I found it super interesting. I mean, the Turtles are super popular. I remember my brother right underneath me, that was his thing, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Turtles are timeless, man. The Turtles are time. They have withstood the test of time, man.
Yeah.
Turtles are still fucking awesome, man.
And this is like the first serious fighting game they've been in. They've had some turtle-based fighting games. I think they were in like Ubisoft game. The Ubisoft
Turtle Smash Up or something like that. Yeah, but yeah, so there've been Turtle universe fighting games, but they have never, to my knowledge, been a guest in a game before.
Right.
I can't think of anything.
Like any of the major fighting franchise, like a Street Fighter or Injustice or any of that stuff. So I think this is really cool. I might, just because it's the Turtles, I might get ahead and swap this up just because.
To play the Turtles.
Because I really enjoyed the first Injustice, and I have been planning to get this, or I've been thinking about getting, not planning, but thinking about getting it. But I don't know. I don't have a fighting game at all right now. Not a single one.
Wow.
So a fighting game wouldn't be too bad. And Injustice, I might get ahead and pony up for this one to play, just because my guy's Donatello. I don't mess with Raphael. I give me some Donatello.
I'm all about Leo, man. That's the homie. Leo is the homie.
Action going.
Yeah. And this is actually really interesting because the animated series on Nickelodeon is actually coming to an end, and they are not rebooting, but they're coming out with a separate series, which is technically the Turtles in a different universe. So because you know how they have like different dimensions, like Dimension X or whatever. This is some like alternate dimension. So the Turtles are being reimagined in another series, and so then I think that, isn't there a movie or something coming out? I think there's another
they've had animated movie. Yeah, maybe.
I think there's a movie coming out with the Turtles, and so having them in Injustice is just promo for the most part. My question is, how are the Turtles going to play? Is it going to be 4 characters? Or is there going to be like kind of like a combo character?
I hope it's not the tag combo, because that wouldn't be unfun. They should just get and stick all 4 of them in as individual characters with their individual play styles. I would prefer that, but
yeah, because Injustice 2 has like the different kind of like I don't know what you call them, but like you have like different modes for each character. So you have like Batman, and he can have like a couple of different styles and different special moves or whatever.
Yeah.
What a lot of people are assuming, especially because in the trailer, Leo says like, "We fight together, Mikey." Like that term right there made people think like, okay, they're going to be some kind of like combination character, or maybe like you can like tag out or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. I'm very interested to see how this works, because if they go this route, that's good. That's a lot of work for one character, because like the Turtles aren't the same.
No,
you can't just like change the color of the headband and like it's a different, like, no, they have different fighting styles, they have different weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be very interesting to see how they play. I'm actually pretty curious to see it.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that because like you said, there's belief that they're going to be like a tag duo, and I hope not. I really hope not.
Yeah. It would be a blessing if they were 4 separate characters, but I don't think that I don't think that Injustice would put that much emphasis on like the Turtles in a game that's not based on the Turtles, like 4 character slots just for Turtles. That's awesome, but that's a bit much, you know.
I don't know, because
like they didn't even make separate character slots for the robots. Like you have the Triborg or Tribot instead of the the new Cyrax and what the other one.
But also, I don't think those 3 characters necessarily needed because nobody ever actually even played all that. I mean, anybody ever played was Cyrax, right? The yellow one. What was the yellow one? That's one everybody always played.
I think that one's Cyrax. I can't remember the Sector. Sector was the red one. Yeah.
And then Smoke. Nobody ever played those. Everybody always played Cyrax. So just come on.
4 turtles.
Yeah.
Ed Boon. 4 turtles.
Yeah, please. Just please.
Yeah, so that was our quick hits. Let us know what you think. Are you excited for the Turtles? Let us know what you think about any of the quick hits that we talked about today via our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter. You can also leave comments down in the comment section of this video if you're watching on YouTube or listening to it on your favorite podcasting app. But with that said, let's go ahead and move into the top 5 news stories. Which is going to be the meat and potatoes of this podcast. But before we do that, I do want to give a special shout out to our sponsor, which is the New Challenger Discord. Give me a second while I bring up their webpage. All right. So, the New Challenger Discord is a vast and active community filled with a lot of fighting game enthusiasts. They hold bi-weekly tournaments in your favorite fighting game, including freaking Street Fighter V, Injustice 2, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Tekken 7. Anything that you're playing, it is there, and they can help you get good with your favorite character. Go to newchallenger.gg, join the Discord by clicking the little button, and then when you join, let them know that True Sonic sent you, because they know me over there, or maybe they do, I don't know. They probably forgot all about me. They are raring up for the release of Dragon Ball FighterZ. I do plan on being very active in that scene, so if you want to get good, go ahead and get yourself introduced to the team. Also visit them on Twitter at New Challenger TV, and go to their Twitch channel, because on top of the bi-weekly tournaments, they also do like weekly shows like the beginner breakdown, where they take a user submitted match in any fighting game, and they kind of just go over the ins and outs, shows you what mistakes that you're making, and help you get better at your game. So yeah, again, that's newchallenger.gg. Big shout out to Mr. Vinegar, who is the founder of the Discord server, and also a huge not a disc, but a shout out to Mount Lover, who is a friend of the podcast, and also a coach, moderator, and just overall cool guy over on the Discord. So shout out to Mount Lover. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a friend of the show, and thanks for sponsoring the podcast. So let's go ahead and move on to the top 5 news stories for the week. Boogie, I'm gonna let you start it. What we got first?
We got news from our favorite gaming company here. We got Nintendo news. So Nintendo doesn't seem to understand how DLC works, because apparently the second DLC pack for Zelda is coming sometime in December. As of right now, there's been no announcement, and as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, Ubisoft dropped their Mario vs. Rabbids DLC without making any announcements either.
Right.
So it looks like if you go into the Nintendo Switch eShop and you search under Zelda, then you search under the DLC, You will see that releasing December 2017, and there's a specific date of December 31st, which could be a placeholder, could not be. But look for the Zelda DLC if you're a Breath of the Wild owner and you bought the season pass. Look for it to drop sometime next month.
Yeah.
Don't expect Nintendo to tell you until the day of, though, because that seems to be their MO.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't even have Breath of the Wild, but when they announced the season pass and the how like vague they were and like what was going to be included, I was like, I think even if I owned that game, I would probably pass on it.
They're still kind of figuring it out. It's not like there's no examples out there for them to get some inspiration from. But it looks like there's kind of figuring out. It's like a new company trying to figure out something new. And I don't know if they just don't want to do what everybody else. And it's probably the case with Nintendo. They don't want to do what everybody else is doing. They want to do it their way.
Right.
But this is very odd. Again, they released the Mario vs. Rabbids one just out of the blue without telling anybody. I think they made the announcement the day of or the day before.
Right.
And then this thing is coming. The way it's coming out. So yeah, if you're a Breath of the Wild and you've been biting at the chomp to get your second DLC pack, it's coming soon.
Yep. You'll get it next month. Before the month is over. So we'll see. And
then
we have another Nintendo story. Yep. What else we got?
So Nintendo Switch is no longer only a gaming console, as they now have Hulu. A Hulu app on the Nintendo Switch, so you can stream Hulu in glorious 720 or 1080p upconverted. I had to take the shot.
I got you.
There's actually a free trial. I think it's a 14-day free trial. So if you want to test out Hulu on your Nintendo Switch, you can log in and download the app and sign up for the free trial and watch Handmaid's Tale or the new Marvel show that's going to be coming on there, The Runaways. That's coming up soon. So maybe save your free trial for them to post The Runaways and then use it to watch that.
Yeah. Hulu isn't a bad service. I actually like it.
No, it's good for like a lot of the more current network shows. And apparently, it's the place to go for all your anime.
Anime?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's Nintendo news. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, shall we?
Yes, let's move on. So,
oh man.
if you are a PlayStation 4 player, and you link your PlayStation 4 account to the Sony Rewards system, you can now earn cash. So the way it works is if you earn you have to link your PlayStation Now or your PlayStation Network account to the Sony Rewards system setup or whatever you want to call it. Program, that's it. The Sony Rewards program. So once you link them, when you earn trophies, you earn points. Once you get over 1,000 points, you get a $10 PlayStation Network gift card or credit. So 6,000 points net you a free game, unless you're buying something on sale. But I mean, if you're already a trophy hunter, I mean, there's plenty of people out there that play games just to hunt trophies.
Right.
If you're a trophy hunter, this can be pretty lucrative. The way it breaks down is you get 100 silver trophies get you 100 points, so that's 1 point per silver. 25 gold trophies get you 250 points, which makes it about 10 points per gold trophy, and 10 platinum trophies get you 1,000 points, which that makes it about 100 points per platinum trophy. And again, every 1,000 points. Is that what I said?
Yeah, every 1,000 points you get a $10 PSN voucher. Yep.
So I mean that can be lucrative, especially if you're a trophy hunter. It makes sense now if you go back. Remember earlier this year, Sony started cracking down on the trophy farming games, right? So it makes sense that they started kicking those guys off. But I'm sure there's still some out there that people can get their hands on and farm some easy trophies. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this. It's no problem. I don't see any problem with it.
I don't see anything wrong with it, except what we talked about last time with the exploitation of the trophies. So with them going out of their way to rid the marketplace of those pretty much like shovelware games that just like hand out platinum trophies. Like this is good to go. So right. I don't mind. It's just an extra incentive to go ahead and get trophies, because I can be honest with you, I haven't like hunted trophies in a game in a long time. I used to, like, I would actively try to get as many achievements as I could in certain games, but I haven't done that in a while, and I really haven't had the incentive to. And I honestly don't think that a $10 voucher is going to get me there either. I mean, I play games to have fun. I don't play games to try and like max out achievements or trophies. Like that's just not how I like to play games. It can be stressful.
Yeah, the number of trophies you had to get can be a bit. I mean, the platinum trophies aren't easy to get. Those are that's why they're platinum trophies. I mean, the number of trophies you can get can be a bit daunting. So,
I think the platinum trophy is when you get all of the trophies for the game. Am I correct?
Pretty much. I think there are some that are out there for like beating like the ultra hard mode on certain games and stuff like that. Like some games have multiple platinum trophies. Okay. Like it'd be one for, like you said, getting all the other trophies, but then there are some for meeting some kind of ridiculous criteria. Like, beat Horizon Zero Dawn on the hardest level without dying.
Right. Okay.
Something silly like that. So I mean,
that's not fun for me.
No, not at all. But like I said, there's people out there that's what they do. They hunt trophies. They were doing it for the gamer score. Now they can actually get a couple of extra bucks. Maybe add some of their games. Cut their costs down and buying these junk games to hunt trophies.
Yeah. Yeah. So as long as there's no games that are just giving out the trophies,
right?
This is cool. Extra incentive. Nothing wrong with it. I don't mind it.
No. Yeah.
Not something that I would use, but it doesn't bother me.
I will sign up for it just because, like, in 5 or 10 years of playing, I might get a $10 gift.
Yeah. Yeah, man. The trophies and achievements aren't as easy as they used to be, man. Like, I remember 360 days, you just beat the game and you would have like the majority of the achievements.
I don't know, because
for a lot of games.
Destiny 2, I got freaking 100% without trying. Well, I'm missing one. And it's one because I haven't tried it. All I have to do is try and I'll get it. But I got 100%, but just by playing through the game. It's nothing special, nothing daunting. So there's still games out there that are fairly liberal with the trophies or achievements. But I don't play my PlayStation. I haven't touched it yet. I got the Horizon update, the DLC. Yeah, I haven't touched. I actually turned on my PlayStation to play it, and it needed an update. And after about 15 minutes,
it's like, time for to play the Xbox.
I didn't even do that. I just watched. I wouldn't watch Netflix. Anything.
Yeah, I have to get that DLC because that's a really good game, Horizon Zero Dawn. So I'll play it eventually, but money's a little tight these days. So.
There's no rush. It'll be there.
Yeah, it'll be there. So let's go ahead and move on to the next story. What we got?
We got some disturbing news out of Take-Two.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I think I could take this one. Okay, so Take-Two. If you're unfamiliar with Take-Two, they are pretty much the overseers or the producers of two of the major companies that are in gaming right now. You have Rockstar Games and you have 2K Games. Mm-hmm. Collectively, like these guys make a lot of freaking money, off the IPs. I mean, just think, Rockstar has Grand Theft Auto, of course. They have the Red Dead series. They have Midnight Club, Bully, all of the Mafia.
Is theirs, right?
Mafia is a 2K series. But I'm just talking about Rockstar.
you're just talking about Rockstar, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, so lots of IPs, and then like you were saying, over on the 2K side, they have Mafia that just came out. They have like all of the sports games.
2K Sports, yeah.
The 2K Sports games, minus football. They have the wrestling series, BioShock series, XCOM. So a lot of IPs, under the Take-Two umbrella. And in a conference call with the CEO of Take-Two with the investors, it was basically said that going forward, they are going to go out of their way to make sure that we get microtransactions and loot boxes and
right.
pretty much every single game going forward.
Right. So yeah, they are focusing on, and what he termed as, and I take offense to this, he termed it as, hold on.
Yeah, get the exact term. I know what you're talking about.
Recurrent consumer spending opportunities. Really. Yeah. It hurts my heart for this. It hurts my heart that gaming is going this way, because it really, really kills creativity. And the focus is basically on squeezing our wallets, squeezing the wallets of the gamers. And right. I really don't like that. And it really is additionally sad for me because, like you said, the properties that Take-Two publishes. I mean, one of the biggest games that's going to be coming out in the next year to 18 months, Red Dead Redemption 2, is going to be a microtransaction hell.
Right. And you know, the GTA, like I think you were just about to say, they're not a stranger to microtransactions. No. You know, GTA Online has made a lot of money. A lot of freaking money. We're going to talk about that in a second. But I think because of the success of that, you know, they feel like they can just go all out. And we've seen that in recent games with 2K and the NBA series. Yep. How they're distributing their like virtual currency, and how it takes forever for you to level up your character in a single player campaign.
Right. Is more beneficial for you if you want to level up, you want to be competitive. The best way to do it is to spend money. And while you can do it in a game,
it takes
too long. It takes way too long.
It takes way too long.
When you look at people that may not have that amount of time, maybe because they have real life stuff to deal with, or maybe just because they have other games they want to play as well. When you can't sink that time, you're just taking money out of their pockets. But my concern is not even necessarily that, because you can skip that. You can completely skip the game. My concern is when a publisher is pushing this way, it really stunts the creativity of the game, and it really stunts the creativity of a specific game and games in general, because there's going to be less games coming out. Because again, we want to talk about GTA 5, but I mean GTA 5 is what, 2013, right? 2012, 2013, 4 years old, and I mean they keep pushing content out for that old game, and nobody knows when or if we'll get another GTA.
Right. Like, do we even, like, why even do it?
There's no incentive.
No incentive, because they are making tons of money off those microtransactions.
Right.
And I haven't touched GTA 5 in a long time, like since before it was even brought out for the current generation. I played it on the 360. And I was done with it before the Xbox One version and PC version even came out or was even announced. So I mean, while the game was good, like, I don't know, it didn't hold my interest for that long. But apparently, like, it's just been making Rockstar and Take-Two tons of money. And you see what these other companies are doing. You know, we talked about Activision and their patents to kind of just like monetize, you know, your frustrations. They make money off you being salty. Yeah. off of like, you know, matchmaking that they do themselves to just like, I don't know. It's a very, very weird thing that's happening in gaming right now. And, you know, like we said before, it's going to take something very drastic for these guys to understand that this is not what we want as consumers. Right. You know, games as a service is okay for certain titles, but if there's microtransactions in my single player campaign, you know, like in Shadow of War. Yep. That's a problem. Or even like in Assassin's Creed, you know, with the Helix credits, there's microtransactions in a single player campaign. And like, I don't know, it's coming to a point where, you know, especially the language that the CEO of Take-Two used, he wants to do this for games across the board. Yeah, all games.
He specifically said that all games going forward will have that opportunity. They want all of their games when they release to have recurrent consumer spending opportunities. So they want some sort of microtransaction in every game, from your Red Deads to your Mafias to your XComs to your whatever else is out there. And my fear is, as it stands now, XCOM, Mafia, those are pretty single-threaded games. Once you get the campaign, the DLC, you're done with it. You're done with it.
Right.
There's no more to it. My worry is either one, they're not going to come out with another one of either of those games, or when they do come out, they're going to be such
drastically different.
Yeah, drastically different, and so heavily weighed with microtransactions as to not be a fun game.
Right.
And I worry that's going to be an issue with Red Dead Redemption 2 that's coming out. And again, the creativity that these studios have when they make their games is definitely going to be stifled when they are forced to make the game have built-in microtransactions.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I feel like over the last couple of months, we've been talking about microtransactions in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's random loot boxes, whether it's microtransactions, cosmetics, in a single player campaign, pay to win in a multiplayer game.
Right.
This is a serious problem, and it doesn't seem like it's going away because these CEOs and these executives, they see the value in it. They see that, this is making a lot of money, and, everybody wants to follow suit. The same thing with esports. Everybody saw where the money was going, so that everybody headed in that direction.
Right.
It's the same thing with microtransactions, man. They kind of opened the floodgates, and now they want to monetize everything. And I actually want to elaborate on this topic a little bit more in our long form, so I want to save the rest of my thoughts for then, but let's go ahead and move on. We have another story coming out of Take-Two. Let's talk about that.
So GTA 5 has become the best-selling game of all time, and apparently this is just United States or North America.
Okay.
The best-selling game ever, period. They've sold the most copies of any other game. And we talked about, last time we went over NPD numbers, GTA 5 was the number 2 or number 3 game.
It's still in the top 5 after 5 years.
Yep. And it's every month. It's at least in the top 10. Typically in the top 5. A lot of times it's close to sitting at 1 or 2. The only reason it hasn't been recently is because of the Mario Odyssey, and then Assassin's Creed did well. But other than that, when those big hit titles aren't coming out, GTA is just sitting there look at me. And this is it's part of the reason why Take-Two is moving along with the direction they're moving, because GTA 5 is raking in a ton of dough on microtransactions. It's ridiculous the numbers. I think it was something like 30% or more of the revenue generated for Take-Two was by microtransactions. It's absurd. Ubisoft has something like 50%, but again, GTA is definitely the 800-pound gorilla in the gaming industry right now.
Yeah, and we've sang its praises. It's a fabulous game, both the single player campaign and the online, which has consistently since launch been given updates and expansions.
Right.
Most of which have been free.
Yeah, that's true. They have been given free. And again, they've been monetizing the game with microtransactions, and I don't know. I have an issue with the way microtransactions are implemented in premium games.
Yeah, we'll talk about that once we get into our long form. For now, let's go ahead and wrap up the top 5 news stories. We have one more story.
We have 2 more, actually.
Oh, no, 2 more. My bad.
Yeah.
2 more stories. One dealing with Microsoft and one dealing with EA. Let's go ahead and get that Microsoft story going. What we got?
So Microsoft, Phil Spencer had a wide-ranging interview with Bloomberg.
Okay.
And he said a lot of different things in there. 2 things that were of note was, one, Microsoft is looking to launch a streaming service along the lines of PlayStation Now. Apparently, back in 2012, they had an internal test inside of Microsoft only. It was only available to Microsoft employees, and the cost was a problem. And what Phil Spencer said is with the advancements of the Azure cloud services and some other advances. My guess when he said other advances, I'm guessing the lower cost. I mean, I work it every day. I see prices of internet connectivity, especially the high bandwidth pipes. You're talking about, like, when I say high bandwidth pipes, I'm talking like OC 192s and transport circuits.
Okay.
The backhaul type services dropping in price. You're going to get a better cost. It'd be easier. It'd be a better business plan and easier to handle. The cost will definitely come down. So that's interesting. And it was mentioned that it was going to be something available across all devices or many devices. Microsoft right now under what's the freaking CEO?
Phil Spencer?
No.
Oh, that's the
Oh gosh, my brain. It's not Ajit Pai. Ajit Pai is FCC. But the CEO right now, his thing is Microsoft everywhere. He wants Microsoft stuff on everything.
Right.
So when they say this streaming service is going to be across multiple devices, are they talking PC and Xbox, or do they truly mean everything where you can get it on PC, Xbox, maybe PlayStation, or
tablet? At
the very least, that's right, tablets, iOS, mobile, iOS, Android, that type of stuff. So Satya Nadella. That's
okay.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the name right away, but
it's all good.
But yeah, so that's something they're looking at, and they said within the next 2 to 3 years. It'd be interesting to see what comes out, because to be quite honest, Microsoft doesn't have much as far as first party to support a streaming service. They have Halo, they have Gears, they have Forza, and
I don't really see what would be different outside of the current Xbox Game Pass.
Well, it's a streaming service, right? So Xbox Game Pass only works on Xbox and PC.
PC, yeah.
Right. So and you still have to download the game and house it on your device,
console, yeah.
And that does all the processing. Where the streaming service, the processing is done in the cloud, and all you're doing is playing the game in controls.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Depending on the price, it can be beneficial, but they need more games.
Yeah, I mean,
and then our third-party developers going to want to play ball with that, because everybody has their own kind of like not necessarily streaming service, but like distribution service. Like you have the Origin, and you have Uplay and all that. Like, are those third parties going to want to include their titles onto?
That's the problem Sony has with PS Now, right? That's why it's so expensive, because they get the third-party games, they have to give the third parties a cut. And that just raises the price. So we'll see what Microsoft has. He said maybe 3 years. Within 3 years, I think is what the specific comment
time frame.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. It's kind of interesting.
I mean, it's interesting, and it goes along with what we've been saying for a while as far as Xbox has been concerned. They haven't been really focused on first party titles. They've been more focused on kind of like future proofing the Xbox brand and turning it into more of a platform instead of just, like a console with a first party console manufacturer and game developer. They want to be the next Steam out here. And they're taking a lot of steps to try and make that happen, with the backwards compatibility, with the Play Anywhere, the Game Pass, and then, in the next couple of years, we're going to have a streaming service that does not require an Xbox console.
So it'd be interesting. And they, like I said, Satya Nadella is all about Microsoft everywhere.
Yeah.
And this will be just part of the plan coming down from the top. My Xbox everywhere. And they mentioned a couple of years ago that they saw Xbox less as a hardware device and more as a service. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
Speaking of Xbox and first party titles, or lack thereof, it seems that Phil Spencer has finally admitted that their plan or their strategy of relying pretty much exclusively on third-party titles is not working, as he said that they're planning to ramp up first-party game development either by opening studios and or buying studios. And everybody knows within the past few years, Microsoft has been closing everything. Lionhead gone.
Yeah.
Who else did they close? They closed another big studio. What was the other big studio they closed?
I can't remember.
But yeah, they have been closing studios. And now they're looking to reverse course and start getting studios to make games exclusive to Xbox. And that's a long time coming. I don't know if it's too little, too late. It's something they should have done a couple of years ago, at least to coincide with the launch of the new Xbox, that One X.
Yeah.
It'd have been a lot easier for them to say, hey, look, we're launching this new great box, and we have these great exclusive Xbox titles that you're only going to be able to play on the Xbox. So it's something a long time coming. It's something they absolutely need to do, but I don't know if it's in time.
Yeah, I really feel like they should have been ramping up their first party developed games like at the same time while like focusing on this kind of like Xbox like platform thing that they've been doing for the last couple of years. And the cancellation of some major third party exclusives also does not help. Scalebound. What was the other one? The Lionhead game that was canceled, the Fable Legends or whatever.
Right.
Canceling those games was definitely not was not a good thing, because PlayStation was dropping freaking exclusives left and right, and they have more coming down the line. I don't remember what the name of the studio I tried to find it, but I can't.
I know they closed Lionhead. I forgot the other one. Yeah, I've read it before, like yesterday or a couple of days ago, and I just forgot what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope it's definitely not too late, because Microsoft has got a buttload of cash. I mean, you look at Microsoft like, Xbox is not selling well, but they got the Azure platform and they got the enterprise, and they print money just the same way as Disney's printing money,
right?
And Apple and those other big tech guys print money. So Microsoft has a ton of money, and they have money to make up for the Xbox losses, and enough money to make up for and turn it around. It's just whether or not they've lost the public.
Right. Yeah, they definitely lost the momentum, but I think that's something that can be easily regained with some exciting exclusives. That's all that they really need. So
right.
Go ahead.
Because there's still tons of people that play the Xbox, and this is me personally. I think Xbox Live is by far a better network for gaming than PlayStation Network. I think what Sony has over Microsoft right now is the games. I mean, if Microsoft had the games on the same level of exclusive, and not just number, but in quality, because Sony has top quality games. Like when you look at Uncharted and Horizon and the upcoming Spider-Man, those are top notch games. They're not just, we got a bunch of exclusives. We have a bunch of great exclusives. If Microsoft was in that same boat, they would probably be much closer in sales to Sony. But because they rely completely or almost exclusively on third party games
for like the last few years, we haven't gotten any exclusives.
Yeah, since Xbox One launch, essentially. Since they relied on third party, there's really no reason to buy an Xbox, because all the games that Microsoft is relying on are available on the PlayStation, and on the PlayStation you get the added bonus of the PlayStation exclusives.
Right, and then the exclusives that do come out, like Recore or whatever, that's available on PC.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
I don't know. We'll have to see. I've always been a fan of the Xbox console. I'm an Xbot at heart. But I have to say, I have not really been playing it that much. I mean, recently I've been playing just because I bought Assassin's Creed on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I could have got that in a multitude of ways. So
yeah, PC, PlayStation.
Yeah, there needs to be more incentive than just this is just my preferred, controller to have in hand when playing a game. I need more games.
Yep.
Because that's why I bought the Xbox, to play games, not.
Stream,
yeah, not
watch
stream,
watch
yeah.
4K movies, yeah.
Yeah, not the exclusive reason why I bought it. But
Yep.
we'll see what happens. I'm pretty excited. I was hoping that they would make some announcements at the recent press events, but it looks like we have confirmation that they're going to be coming out with something soon. So here's to that. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Let's move on to the next story, and this involves EA and their acquisition of Respawn Entertainment. If you're unfamiliar with what Respawn is, they are the guys behind the Titanfall series, and they're also the
original founders
of Infinity Ward over at Activision.
Mm-hmm.
We actually talked about this a long time ago when they had the falling out. A lot of the founding members of Infinity Ward left Activision and created Respawn Entertainment, which was a independent group, an independent developer, and they went to make Titanfall, and it was published by Electronic Arts.
Right. Yeah, they initially just had a publishing deal with Electronic Arts.
Right.
EA was publishing, and as far as I know, all they were publishing was Titanfall. They didn't publish anything else, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And Titanfall is underrated. Especially Titanfall was okay, but Titanfall 2 was
vastly superior.
Underrated. Yeah, and it's an underrated game. They make good games. The games that they make are good. They are passionate. They have in progress. They're making a exclusive game for the Oculus Rift, a VR game, and they have a Star Wars game, a yet to be named Star Wars game that was also in production. So EA gets all of that. Yeah. They get the Titanfall IP, and Respawn is now an EA property.
And this comes like right off the heels of the shutdown and closure of Visceral Studios.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. A lot of people are seeing, like, okay, well, if Titanfall 3 or whatever's coming out of Respawn, if it doesn't sell, they're going to just be, chewed up and spat out just like all of the other, like Pandemic.
Right. I don't think that would be the case. I don't know. One, Respawn is super talented, but I think it's more.
BioWare is super talented.
That's true too.
Close them down in a freaking heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. I think they're more after the IP of the Titan. I mean, not the Titanfall. They're more after the Star Wars game that Respawn is working on, and they may have seen, because they have early builds, and they may have seen something that they really liked, and I mean they're paying 400 up to 400 million. Yeah. With incentives. I think it's like 154 million to start, and then another 150 million for something else, and then
bonuses and all that.
Then bonuses and stuff can bring the deal up to and upwards of $450 million. So I mean, it's not a little bit of money. I mean, maybe a little bit of money for EA. No, that's a lot of goddamn.
That's a chunk of change.
Yeah, definitely.
And especially for Respawn, which, in their inception, decided that they were not going to do anything like that ever again. They didn't want to be a subsidiary anymore.
Right.
They got out of Activision, and that was a very messy ordeal in itself.
Yeah, well, what happened was Activision bought Infinity Ward.
Right.
And apparently Activision decided not to pay out a bunch of bonuses. And that's what started. It's like it was the same type of thing. Activision bought Infinity Ward for a certain amount of money, and bonuses or performance bonuses would raise it up to a next tier. And Activision decided they didn't need to pay that tier. They had to take them to court and blah blah blah. It was pretty messy.
Yeah, it was very messy.
Yeah, so I don't know what prompted them to go ahead and let EA buy them. My guess, if anything, as an independent studio, is just for stability and capital. You know, they know EA has deep pockets, and it's going to allow them to make what they want to make, without having to worry about funding, and it gives their employees much more stability, some stability being under EA, as long as they perform, right?
As long as they perform, because we've seen in recent years and recent releases out of EA, if the title does not perform, they are going to swallow up your talent, close down your studio, and distribute you like within other EA subsidiaries.
Be sent over to what's Motive up in Montreal. Is it Montreal?
I think so.
Toronto?
To something like that.
Yeah.
So here's to Respawn and their freaking upcoming titles. Hopefully, they can continue to make quality games. And you know what? Now that we talked about Titanfall 2 being underrated, EA decided to release that thing like in between two other major freaking Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
It was two. Yeah, but there was two big EA titles. I want to say Battlefield 1 and it was another big EA title that was released, and then Titanfall was released. It was odd. Yeah, it was odd that they stuck it there.
The weirdest release date ever.
It seemed to me that they wanted the game to be out for Christmas sales, but it would have done them better to release that game either much earlier, maybe in the summertime when nothing was out, or
during the drought.
Yeah, or right after Christmas, like the week after or January, because that's when you get all the Christmas gift cards.
Right.
So I think they made a mistake there, and it's bad. If you haven't played Titanfall and you like first person shooters, play Titanfall. It's a really, really good game. It's really good. Even the single player campaign is one of the better ones I played.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It could be bad, seeing as how EA has been treating their studios as of late. But with the talent behind the guys over at Respawn, I'm hoping that they can maintain, because if not, then they will be swallowed whole and spat out. Yeah, and
that's what EA does,
because that's what they do, man, and that's what they've been doing lately. And what's up?
I left the story off. I want to talk about this. Go ahead. More EA. I'm sorry.
No, do your thing, man.
Before we move on, EA also, they were talking about moving EA Sports to more of a subscription model.
Oh yeah.
And I think this is a big story. I meant to put it in. I forgot to stick it in the notes. But in a talk, again, you're hearing all of this because third quarter earnings just went out. So all these companies are doing their earnings calls. EA was talking about moving their EA Sports titles to a subscription service, and I think that's a long time coming.
Right.
I would be on board with, like, so we talk about microtransactions in games as a service, where I don't think it works for single player or campaign games. When you look at Red Dead Redemption, GTA, Mafias, and that type of stuff. And even for 2K, the way it's implemented in 2K, I think is bad. But if you do it in a sports game where EA is talking about, they're talking about doing updates, roster updates, new modes, maybe new skins, but that type of stuff. Because why should I have to pay $60 a year just to get in a roster update? That's been Madden for like the past 10 years. There's been a new mode, some new animations, but mainly it's been the same game with a roster update, especially when you go every year. So with Madden, I figured out if you skip like 1 or 2 seasons, the next game you get is going to be significantly different.
Right.
Enough for it to warrant a $60 purchase. But if you say, hey, you buy Madden, the base Madden game for $60, and next year when the new rosters come out and we add the new franchise mode or new update the story, you pay $15, $20, even up to $25, I'm happy with that. I'm back into the annual Madden. As of right now, I don't buy Madden until either it goes on to a deep discounted sale, or I just don't buy it.
Yeah, so, no, I haven't been a fan of the sports sim in a very long time, but I do feel like every year you're buying a new FIFA, a new Madden, a new NBA Live or whatever, a new WW. Oh no, well that's 2K, but sports games every year is madness.
Right.
And I really don't know how people do it. This is something that was long in has been coming for a long time. Right. It should long overdue. Should have been a thing a few years ago. So not mad at it. But with the subscription service model, people are going to be playing like either monthly or yearly for these updates and, patches or whatever.
Right.
They're going to have to scale back those microtransactions, my boys, because I'm already paying you a certain amount of money per month or per year or whatever. Like how, like, I don't know.
Well, you can't.
There's gonna have to be some kind of like give and take, man.
You can't have both.
Right.
That's what I would say. I mean, if they try to do both, where you get goddamn, you get microtransactions and your subscription service, something's gonna have to give.
And no.
when you look at the way EA does their microtransactions, they do it a little differently. So their microtransactions aren't tied like in 2K. NBA 2K is tied to the game of your progression, right?
Yeah.
Their microtransactions aren't tied to that. Their microtransactions are tied to the Ultimate Team.
Okay.
So that's totally separate. So you have the ability to compete in the Ultimate Team, and the Ultimate Team is where they're doing their esports, right? They're sending esports to the Ultimate. So you got FIFA Ultimate Team, Madden Ultimate Team. Basically, what you do is you buy packs of cards. It's like back in the 80s or early 90s, you go into the store and buy a pack of basketball cards, right? It's the same type of thing. You buy a pack of cards, you get a random set of players, you put them on your team. The cards are not infinite. They are finite. They range from 1 to like 5 or 10 game contracts, meaning that you can use that player for that number of games and then it expires. That's fine because again, it has nothing to do with me. I don't play Ultimate Team. I usually play either the franchise or the story mode, the whatever the story mode is, be the hero in the sports game.
Right.
So that's not going to affect me, and those microtransactions won't affect me. And what this does for EA, if they do it this way, is they're able to monetize me. Because me personally, I'm not buying extra. I'm not buying the Ultimate Team cards. There's people that's out there, they're deep into that. They spend, they have
hundreds,
budget,
thousands.
They buy their Ultimate Team and they earn their cards, and they're serious players, right? They're pushing towards the Madden tournaments and all of that stuff. That's what they do, right? But then there's people like me that I'm just gonna play the franchise mode. I play the single player mode, whatever that is, the my player mode or whatever you call it, and that's it. So I pay them the $60, and I'm not paying them anything else ever,
right?
Until I decide, and I'm not paying $60. Again. Yeah, until I decided to buy the next game. I mean, every year in January, February, EA has a sale where they'll bundle Madden and FIFA for $60, and that's when I buy the games.
Right.
But it's an easy way to monetize people that aren't monetized while lowering their costs. Because now every year, instead of spending $50, $60, $70 million to develop a brand new Madden game, they might spend $5, $10, $15 million just to do an mode update,
some patches, some bug fixes, some roster changes. Minimal work, maximum profit. Right. And they try to make that money, man.
Yeah. For this, I personally wouldn't mind it. This type of microtransaction is okay because I'm not going out and buying a $60 game every year and then spending on top of that. I buy the game once and then, I spend $15, $20, $30 a year to keep it updated. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I'm not okay with some of the other directions that these microtransactions are going.
But yeah, price is also going to play a factor too. How much is it going to cost?
I wouldn't pay more than say $25.
Yeah.
If it's more than $25 a year, I'm out.
Yeah. All right, so that's enough EA for one podcast. Let us know what you guys think. That was the top 5 news stories. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know down in the comments section. You can hit us up on our social media. We're on Facebook and Twitter. You can also leave comments down in the comments section on YouTube or wherever you are consuming this media. Now, we're going to get into the long form discussion. And I kind of wanted to hold off on my deep opinions on what we were talking about as far as Take-Two and the business plan around microtransactions, because it kind of plays into what we're going to talk about here. And this week's long form question is comes from Boogie. Boogie came up with a question. It's a very good one, and it is this the beginning of the end for epic single player games? Because the way things are going and the rapidness of these companies that are just jumping on this super intensive push for microtransactions, it seems that way. So we want to jump into that discussion. Boogie, why don't you go ahead and start us off? What are your thoughts on it?
I don't see the classic single player game. When you look at stuff like Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm gonna talk about that because that's one of the most recent. Stuff like Uncharted. When you look at those type of games, and even this, when you look at Star Wars KOTR, Knights of the Old Republic, right? Those type Mass Effect Andromeda, that was another recent one that tanked, or not, it didn't necessarily tank, but the company didn't like where it was going.
Right.
When you look at those type of things, those games don't generate additional revenue, and the way it's going, and we talked about Take-Two earlier. Take-Two wasn't the only one. Ubisoft was big on microtransactions, where 50% of their gaming revenue came from microtransactions. And Ubisoft has several properties. When you look at Ghost Recon Wildlands, when you look at Rainbow Six Siege, which is now, I think, almost 2 years old, over 2 years old.
Yeah.
And you look at For Honor, all those games are rife with microtransactions, from skins to weapons to characters. I mean, all of that stuff is just built into the game, and people are eating it up to the point where these companies are making record money. And at the end of the day, these gaming companies, they are for-profit companies. They trade on the stock market, and when they see they're going to go where the money is, and they see the money right now is in microtransactions. We got a comment from Mount Lover, God bless his heart. He was talking about how these games are $100 million productions, and for just to be a one-hit pony, $100 million, you sell maybe 10, 15 million of them at $60 a pop, and that's it. At the end, once that's gone, you're not making any more money off of it. Whereas if you spend $100 million on a game and you can have it last for 3, 4, 5 years by piecemealing or nitpicking, or piecemealing content that you charge for, it's going, it's more profitable. It's what they want. It's what they're gonna want to do. And those single player epic games, because another aspect of this is when you look at all those games I mentioned, Rainbow Six Siege and Ghost Recon Wildlands and For Honor, and even GTA, because the GTA that's keeping it going is GTA Online. It's not people are just playing the story over and over and over
again. Oh no,
and
they actually canceled the single player expansion.
Yep,
they canceled that.
Yeah, it's the online. Everything is online. When you look at the game I play the most right now, Destiny 2, online. You got to be grouped up with people who play online for the best experience, or to finish a lot of the end game. I mean, you can't beat the end game without being in a six-person party.
Right.
And when you look at all these games coming down the line, the canceled Star Wars game, which was going to be a single-player epic, has now been canceled. Right.
Yep, it's going to be turned. It's going to be turned into a more multiplayer, focused, microtransaction ridden mess.
Yep. And when you look at all of the big games, a lot of the big games they announced at E3, Anthem multiplayer, the pirate games, the 2 pirate games, I Sea of Thieves, and what's the other one?
I can't remember the other one.
But both of those multiplayer. I mean, everything is multiplayer. There's very few games where you can sit down and just play by yourself and enjoy a rich featured story.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like gone are the days of like just like a single player game, and even like games that have tacked on multiplayer, or not tacked on, but like games that have a single player and a multiplayer component. Like instead of just, logging onto the online, getting inputted into a lobby, and then going into a game, now we have these hub worlds, like in Call of Duty World War II. Yeah. They have like this hub where you're grouped up with, like, I guess, like
social space.
The social space. Like, we're getting these social spaces instead of just like getting into a lobby, getting into a match, and getting the match over with. Right. It's about showing off all these like extra aspects of the game. Like I'm gonna use Call of Duty as an example here, because like there's incentive to like be inside of the social space, watching people
unbox their loot crates.
Unbox their loot crates. Yeah,
you earn points towards XP towards your next loot crate. So if you sit there and watch people open loot crates, you can earn loot crates. It's a vicious cycle. And on top of that, what is that driving? Microtransactions.
It's driving the microtransactions because you can see what they're opening.
Right.
Oh my God, you gotta
have that. Yeah.
You got an epic on your first try or whatever, and it's like, dang, dude, like what happened to just like going into a lobby, picking the game type I wanted, and getting some matches in? Like I used to hate when, you know, like I would just be like waiting for a match to start for more than like a couple of minutes. Now I have to go to the social space and wait around with like 16 other people that may not even be in my party or whatever. Right. It's like, why incorporate that? It's like, so it's not even about the end of like just single player games. It's just the end of the individual like experience. Like they want you to have this kind of
everything is socialized.
Everything is socialized. Yeah, everything is socialized. Everything is just like broadened out, and like you got these massive hub worlds. They're trying to create these massive worlds and like universes or whatever that they want you to just be entranced in. And a part of that was actually mentioned in Take-Two's statement towards their investors, was that, you know, a lot of gamers these days, games in general aren't about just like the 10-hour experience or even the 100-hour experience, like that you can get out of a game like Skyrim or something like that. It's not like that anymore. Like if you're going to have this massive world, you're going to want people to come back into it. And, you know, the people that they're going to be the ones that stay there. They're going to be the ones that spend the money. Mm-hmm. And that's why a lot of these people are going the route that they're going. Right. Because, you know, the people are being entranced. They're engaged with these universes, and, you know,
I think it's an extension of how we live our lives now, right? Everybody is tied into all of the social media. You know, everybody knows what everybody's doing from like Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and it's worming its way into every aspect of our life and our entertainment. And this is evident in gaming. That social aspect outside is moving its way into game where you're connected to everybody, and a lot of times, yes, they're your friends. Right. So like when you look at Facebook, a lot of times people are your friends and family. And then when you look at Twitter, it's just a bunch of random people just spewing nonsense. Right.
Right.
And it's moving along the same lines. Right. So you go into these social spaces. Like Destiny, you have the Tower, World War II, Call of Duty World War II. You have what's this world called?
I don't know.
They call it whatever the hub is. Even, you know, going back a couple years to Division. It's the same thing, right? You go into the post office and that's the social space. And that's just the way it's going. And it's something that's been around for a long time, right? It's been around for a long time. A lot of the PC MMOs had those open social spaces where you go in, the persistent spaces, and they're just moving it to consoles, and it's new to consoles, but on top of them moving it to consoles, they're moving it to consoles with an asterisk, because they're moving it to consoles with the allure of, or with the idea of promoting and forcing people to want to make purchases, microtransactions. Right.
It's with the intent of getting you to purchase, spend more money. That's their intent.
Right.
It's I don't know, man. It's really killing me, and which is why I really appreciate when we do get these awesome single player experiences. Like I said in, you know, previous episodes, I mean, I guess I could say pleasantly surprised, but I was definitely shocked that Horizon Zero Dawn released without any mention of any DLC, no season pass, no nothing. Right. So when I eventually beat the game, I was like, okay, why can't I buy more?
Yeah, why can't I play more? Exactly.
Like, this is not the way that things are going. Like, this is not the way that things usually are.
Right.
And it's weird, and it doesn't look like, going forward, it doesn't look like we're gonna see a lot more of this.
But if we see for those single player titles to come out, I mean, we have a big one coming out, Spider-Man, right? That's going to be a big single player, and then Last of Us 2. But
I mean, as far as we know, shit.
Yeah, as far as we know. But you look at those are like exclusive games, are big single player campaign type things. Crackdown 3 for Xbox. But when you look at all of the third party, the big publishers, EA, Activision, Ubisoft, even Blizzard, all of their games are all social games. Yeah. All of the games coming out, all social games. They don't have anything coming out that's just sit down. I'm going to sit down in my room, in my man cave, in my basement, in my living room. I'm going to dim the lights. I'm going to get me a drink, and I'm going to sit here and spend 2 or 3 hours progressing through a story.
Right.
You don't have that anymore. You have that very rarely. I mean, when you look at the games, again, it's all about the social aspect. I mean, and it's cool and all, but one of the problems I have with that is when a game is so social, when games are so social all of the time, one, you run into jerks.
Yeah.
On the internet, you get the internet tough guys, right? That always wants to be just that jerk. But on top of that, sometimes when you start playing these games, there's a psychological effect saying, well, I should be playing with friends, but none of my friends are online and I don't have anybody to play with. And that dampens the experience, right? So you can actually go through the game by yourself, but it's more fun to go through with people. And for whatever reason, like if you don't have the game or your friends are just on at different times, that happens to me a ton. Like I'm in a clan on Destiny, but lately I've been on when they haven't been on. So a lot of the stuff either I have to LFG or I'm doing it by myself, and it's not nearly as fun as when I have the people that I'm used to talking to and playing with. We crack jokes, we rib on each other. We just do silly stuff in the game for that social aspect. The gaming is not as fun. And when I play a single player game, when I play Watch Dogs or when I play Assassin's Creed or when I play Mafia 3 or something like that, I'm not missing that because it's not social. It's something that's all self-contained that I know I'm going to play by myself. I'm not going to be bothered with anybody, and I'm going to enjoy that experience. And it's that experience that we're losing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because like when you go through a game like Mafia, it's not riddled with microtransactions. You know, you're not getting these prompts every now and then, like, oh, you can purchase this. I'm not trying to like dampen your experience or anything, but Assassin's Creed definitely does that. They definitely harp on the fact that you can use real money to get in-game currency called the Helix credits, and then those are used to get you like exclusive like costumes and weapons and stuff. Like they actually prompted me a few times in game. Like I'll pause the game to like look at the map and like a prompt to come up. Oh, like join the UB club and do all this. I'm like, bro, like I'm looking at the map. I don't want to see that right now.
Right.
And that was a big problem with Fallout 4 and the implementation of the creators clubbers or whatever that was called, where as soon as you launched the game, there was like prompts for you to like download the creator club content or whatever. And on PC, they actually implemented a mod that gets rid of that text because it's freaking annoying, man. Right. It's annoying.
That's in-game. That's advertising. It's in-game advertising.
Right.
Nobody wants to see that in their game.
No.
We've talked about that. I mean, the only place advertising works in a game is a sports game, where it's natural, because that's when you watch sports on TV, you see advertising. When I'm watching X-Men, I don't see goddamn advertising when I pause the screen, and I shouldn't see it in my game.
Right.
So, I feel sad that single player experience is looks like it's going away with the Dota. I hope it can make a turnaround. As long as we have indie developers out there, we will get some.
The indie scene has been killing it.
Yeah, as long as we have the indie developers out there, God bless them, we will get some. But these big publishers, they're all about the money, and they're all about right now. The money is microtransactions and esports.
Exactly,
and that's what they're going to push down our throats. And like you said, the only way for us as a gaming community to get them to not do this is not participate.
Yeah, and it's not enough to just not participate in the microtransactions. Sometimes you just gotta outright avoid a game. Yeah, and like I've avoided a couple of games. I mean, the only reason I really got Assassin's Creed is, my birthday just passed, so it was a gift. Mm-hmm. But I had no intentions on using my own money on Assassin's Creed. I didn't get Shadow of War.
Shadow of War. Yep.
I didn't get Destiny 2. Like a lot of games that I played the first one and I enjoyed it. I just didn't pick up the sequel just because of how they are implementing these microtransactions. The random loot boxes in freaking what's it called, in my first person shooters. I haven't been playing shooters. Like I've given up on both Halo and Gears of War because of microtransactions.
Yeah.
I mean, Halo 5, I didn't necessarily have a huge issue with it there because it was all like cosmetic.
Cosmetic, yeah.
And like you can get it in game fairly quickly if you're playing matches. So I didn't mind it as much. It was kind of annoying when I wasn't getting the stuff that I wanted, but I was like, whatever. But Gears of War, dude, like I put that game down for like maybe 2-3 weeks. It honestly, it could have been more. But when I came back, dude, like when I tell you, if I wanted all of the maps, I would have had to pay like $50 just to get the maps. And I'm like, are you serious?
It was on Xbox Live Gold sale. I think a couple of months ago it was on sale for $30, $29.99.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, no. Yeah, I'm not paying $5 per map. Get out of here.
It gets ridiculous, and it gets ridiculous really fast.
Right. So they're microtransactions are going to start turning people away from games.
Right.
I mean, I haven't even heard anything about, because remember we said we would talk about it. The Gears of War, Gears League. What happened to that?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard anything about that.
No, me either.
Yeah, because it's like I totally turned my attention away from that series. I mean, when the next one decides to come out, I'll probably get it for the campaign, but dude,
I definitely will get it for the campaign because I enjoyed
it was fun
immensely the campaign for Gears of War 4. Absolutely. But yeah, I was never a big Gears multiplayer PvP. I don't like the multiplayer. I just don't like the way I don't like it, period.
Yeah. But I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I think that microtransactions, loot boxes, when they're done, when they're done the wrong way, random loot boxes, I think they're going to ruin a lot of legacy franchises, man.
I think beyond that, I think there's going to be a legal issue coming down the road because, and right now it's in the UK and it hasn't crossed the pond yet, but in the UK they're looking at it as
gambling. Yeah.
In China they make Overwatch put odds on the loot boxes because they also see it as gambling. And I think if it starts getting really out of hand, there may be an issue. All it takes here in the United States, the legislation won't do anything, but all it takes in the United States is for little Billy to get mom's credit card and spend $1,000 on loot boxes. And mom is going to be like, what in the hell is happening? And it's going to be on the news. And then next thing you know, some snot-nosed Republican senator who's trying to get reelected is going to be like, we've got to regulate this. It's video games. They're killing everybody. Now they're stealing our money. So, that's what's going to wind up happening. And I hope it doesn't get that far. I just hope I hope that as a community we can control ourselves and be like, look, I'm not with this microtransaction stuff. If you keep putting them in the games, I'm just not going to buy or play.
Where are kids getting all this damn money? That's what I want to know. I don't know where they're getting all this money from.
Mom's credit card. That's the problem. It's not the kids, right? The average gamer is like 32 years old, I think, right now. So I mean, these people, it's working class people. And this is their entertainment. Instead of going to the movies, they play games and they microtransact.
Yeah.
So,
but as far as the main topic, man, I think Horizon Zero Dawn is probably like the last of a dying breed, man.
Yeah, I agree because, like I said, at E3 there were very few single player campaign games. I mean, we got the Wolfenstein that just came out, right? That's a single player, big single player campaign, and Beyond Good and Evil 2. That's going to be a single player so far, as far as we know, right?
Yeah. Hopefully.
But I mean, like I said, most of the big games that they announced were multiplayer or social, or if not multiplayer, they had a heavy social aspect in it.
Right.
Be it CFDs where people can drop in and out of games, to the Ubisoft Pirate game, which was a straight up multiplayer type game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I miss I like my single player campaigns. I like a game like a Watch Dogs and the Mafias and the Assassin's Creeds and Horizons and Uncharted. I like those games. I enjoy being able to sit down knowing that I'm not going to have to listen to anybody. My headset, I don't have to rely on somebody to do their job in a raid. Goddamn wiping umpteen time because one jerk doesn't know how to do a single it does not follow instructions. Can't stay alive or whatever. I like being able to play a game and progressing it without having to rely on other people sometimes. Yeah, not all the time, but sometimes. That's what I like.
And I also like single player experiences that aren't necessarily tied to like microtransactions in order to like get the best gear or like, unlock this or unlock that faster. I'm not a fan of that either.
No, I hate it. I don't partake. I
never do.
You see like, oh, look, you can get this cool Ezio skin for your assassin in Egypt. I don't give a shit. What's that going to do for me? No, thank you. Just keep it moving.
Yeah.
So I just.
They actually give out the Ezio skin for free though.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
Nice.
But I don't know, man. Like I just said, last of a dying breed. Especially coming from the AAA developers.
Yeah, not even the developers. It's the publishers.
Well, the publisher, the big three,
the big publishers that control all of these studios that we have come to love. They're going to be pushing these microtransactions, and the expectation, at least for the foreseeable future, is you're going to have tons of microtransactions thrown at you.
Yeah.
Again, I've said this many a time. I don't care if your game is microtransaction heavy if you give me the game free. If it's freemium, you give me the game free and you want microtransactions to prop up the game and get me the advance, that's fine because I didn't pay anything for the game. I might give you 30, 40, 50 bucks in microtransactions if I'm enjoying the game. But if you charge me 60 bucks for your game and then you want to charge me $2 and $3 and $4 and $5 here and there every now and then to where the game goes from being 60 bucks to 160 bucks, I'm not interested.
Right. I mean, and I kind of wanted to talk about this last week, but there was a game that came out called Dauntless. They actually got rid of their random loot boxes, and this is a free-to-play game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The game is called Dauntless. It's kind of like Monster Hunter. Okay. It's a super stylized, very, very colorful game. Yeah, but it's similar to Monster Hunter. And they had, it's a free to play game. So, of course, they have microtransactions, but they also had the random loot box model going on. And as a response to, the issues that are going on right now in the gaming community, he decided that he was going to remove that from his game. And it was weird because the loot boxes in that game, I believe they're for cosmetics. Mm-hmm. I believe that you can also get in-game currency to purchase it, but you can also use real money, par for the course. But he decided to just remove the random factor just because, he sees
like it.
Yeah, it's in the wrong situation, in the wrong context. It seems scummy, and he was like, I don't want to be that kind of developer. The game is free to play. It's kind of like, demoing the game. If you like it, you want to spend money on it. Just like you said, if you play a game for free and you like it, you'll want to drop money on it because you want to enjoy more of the game.
Right. Exactly.
I think that was just like a really good example of how to not be a freaking scumbag and how to make games for people to have fun with, not just for you to, make a killing out here.
Right.
And, we talked about that last time. I feel like, becoming an adult and learning that people are making games solely to make money, It's a little heart wrenching.
Right.
It takes a little bit of my innocence away from me.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, right? Because it's not about getting you an experience, an immersive experience anymore. It's about draining your bank account.
Pretty much, and they want to do that all the more these days.
Yeah.
But that was the. I mean, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I
think we've went on this enough. I mean, we've been talking about microtransactions for a while here on this podcast, and we're going to continue to talk about it because it's an important issue. But let us know what you think. Have the epic single player adventure game gone the way of the dodo? Let us know what you think. If you agree or disagree, leave your comments in the respective comment sections. But let's go ahead and get on to the next segment, which is going to be our final thoughts. And we're just going to retrace our steps on some of the topics that we talked about today and just give our final 2 cents on it. I mean, I pretty much said all that I can on most of these topics. I will say that I'm very happy that IO Interactive is going to continue making the games that they want to make, without the oversight of a publisher like Square Enix that wants to, them to make a game that they want.
Right.
I'm really happy about that. Really psyched about the turtles in Injustice. That's actually really cool. I kind of want to see what happens in terms of the Activision lawsuit, whether or not it goes through or what happens, because they've been how much money are they going to get out of that if they win? Because they've been using Humvees for ever.
Right. Yeah, trademark and copyright infringements they can be. You see what it says triple damages.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually is not something they necessarily have to ask for. It's usually if they win, the judge usually gives out triple damages. So is interesting. I'll keep my eye on this.
Yeah,
I wonder how much it's going to cost them.
Definitely want to keep our eyes on that. Nintendo, they need to do better on more than just DLC release schedules. They have a lot more problems. This is a drop in the freaking bucket compared to the other issues that Nintendo has at the moment. As far as the PSN trophies, cool initiative. Extra incentive. Definitely going to see a lot more how-tos and gameplay tutorials on how to get the platinum trophy. You're going to see a lot of that on YouTube, even more because now money's involved. Anytime you involve money, people get serious.
Yep.
So we'll see just how serious this gets and how many vouchers Sony's going to be busting out, and we'll see how long it takes for somebody to break the system and exploit it. We'll see.
We'll see. Yep. We'll see all of those.
When it happens, we'll report on it. And I'm definitely, and this will be my last final thought, I'm definitely excited for the future of Microsoft. Like I said, I'm an Xbot at heart. I've always been a fan of the Xbox family of titles. So I really want to see some first party games come out. Even if they acquire some studios, I really just want to give my Xbox One some TLC, man, some tender love and care, man. I want to play my Xbox. Give me some games to play on my Xbox that I can't play anywhere else. And I think I'm gonna leave it at that. What you got?
I'm gonna echo your thoughts about IO Interactive. Is glad to see that they're still moving on. I was happy to see that they kept their IP, the Hitman IP, and hopefully they release whatever they release next year or the coming years is good and is successful.
Right.
Maura on the PTR, so I'm expecting to see her within the next week or two. Like I said, there's a free weekend coming up this week on Overwatch, so I wouldn't be surprised if she showed up this week for the free weekend. But I'm expecting to see her before Christmas at least.
Oh yeah, gotta get those Christmas skins out.
Yeah, the Activision being sued by AM General, I'll keep my eye on that. It's interesting. Like I said, EA ran into this trouble with the Blackhawks, and now Activision is running into it with AMG. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Injustice, all I ask is that they're all separate characters. Don't give me any tag or any other nonsense where it's not individual characters.
Right.
Nintendo Switch, the Breath of the Wild, whatever, figure it out, Nintendo. And then Hulu coming to Switch. I mean, again, I don't know anybody that uses the Switch as their primary gaming device, but if you have it as a primary gaming device, okay. If you're going on a road, I still wouldn't use my Switch for Hulu. I would just use my phone because it's going to be
a tablet.
Yeah, it's going to be a better image. And on top of that, I don't have to hunt for somebody's Wi-Fi on my phone. I have my phone's my cell connection. Right. Getting cash for PS trophies. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's not costing you anything. I will. If I haven't, no, I haven't. I'll link my account to the reward system, and I earn points, whatever. You have to look at the fine print. I didn't see if there's any expiration dates and stuff, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Like you said, and I think I saw it in chat. Probably Mount Lover again. It's definitely going to generate a YouTube. Definitely a marketing YouTube for these platinum trophy hunters and the videos. Take Two, I don't have much more to say about that. Microsoft is hopefully it's not too late, but it definitely like to see some first party titles. The streaming service is not something I would probably be interested in, but it'd be interesting to see what they come out with, especially with their cloud, because they have some best in class cloud services in Azure, right? And if they're going to leverage that system with the streaming, I'm sure it'll probably be pretty good. And then EA buying Respawn, I just hope that Respawn is able to perform up to EA standards, or there will be no more Respawn.
Nope.
And then the last story with the subscription model for the EA Sports games, that was the add-in. I don't mind it. It just has to be, I say $25 or less per year.
Right.
Or maybe if you do an a la carte model where I can buy the rosters and I can buy the new mode or what have you.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But let us know what you think on the first story, the last story, anything in between. We would love to know your thoughts. We are on Twitter at AWGamingNS. We're also on Facebook, a weekly gaming news show, or you can just use our call letters, AWGNS. Also, you want to make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube, because we have content other than the show, the main podcast that goes up there. Boogie has the weekly gaming news 10 and 10, which is a 10-minute or less snippet of the topics that we'll be discussing during the main podcast. And then I also have my first impressions, where I take a look at some like games pre-release or like close to like when they just came out, and just give my first impressions on it, kind of like a off-the-cuff review of sorts. But I'm not a reviewer though, so don't call me that. But yeah, definitely make sure you hit us up on YouTube. A weekly gaming news show. You can just search us in the search title, or you can use the teeny URL AWGamingNS. You can catch us there as well. Get us up to 100 subscribers, because when we get that, we want to do something special for you guys. So we're still fighting for that. Also, look out for season 2 of Weekly Gaming News Show podcast. We got some changes upcoming that are in the works, and we definitely can't wait to show you guys. It's going to be super awesome, going to be super cool. So season 2 coming very soon.
That will be next week, right? What is today?
Today's the 12th.
Uh-oh.
What's up?
We oh no, okay, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we got a couple weeks.
Thanksgiving is the week after next, so next week would be our Black Friday show.
Okay, yeah, so next week, season 2.
Yeah, season 2.
Season 2 of a weekly gaming news show coming soon. So look forward to that in 1 week. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly 1 week. 1 week from today.
Yeah.
We've got some changes. Changes in the format, some visual changes, and
yes.
And don't forget the Black Friday show. We're gonna go over, just like we did last year. We talk about the consoles, games, and accessories to go with the consoles, including TVs.
Right.
We talked about TVs last year. This
a
year
lot
is going
about
to be no
TVs.
different. Yeah, this year is going to be different. Maybe not as much about the TVs. And we'll go over, give you links to sales and best deals that's going on Black Friday and that weekend head into what they call now Cyber Monday.
Yeah, so we're going to try to save you some money. Look out for that. Next week is going to be awesome. Definitely don't want to miss that. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcasting app, we definitely want to thank you. And in case you didn't know, Boogie, why don't you let them know where they can listen to us?
We are in the general podcasting directory. So if you're using the podcasting app, we are on there. Just search us from search us by using our call letters AWGNS or a weekly gaming news show. Hit us up, subscribe, and listen. We are also on iTunes, so all of you iOS and Mac users, just go right into iTunes, a weekly gaming news show, AWGNS. We're there. Google Play for the millions and millions of Android users, we're in there. And if you're on something else, we are also, or if you just like TuneIn Radio, we're in there as well. A weekly gaming news show or AWGNS.
Yes, leave us feedback, rate us, let us know what you think about the show, and yeah, just give us your general feedback. We would definitely like to take your suggestions into consideration, and as always, you can submit questions and topics to us via our social media as well. But I think that is enough jabbering. I do want to give one quick shout out to our sponsor, the New Challenger Discord. Head on over to newchallenger.gg and get good at your favorite fighting game, with the games included being Tekken 7, Injustice 2, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Street Fighter 5, with the inclusion of future games like Dragon Ball Fighter Z coming in the very near future. So again, that's newchallenger.gg. They're on Twitter as well at newchallengerTV, as well as Twitch. So make sure you check those guys out. Shout out to Mr. Vinegar and Mount Lover, who are big friends of the podcast. Really appreciate you guys. But I think that's going to call it for this show. This was episode 74. Look out for episode 75. Is going to be the start of season 2, but I already said that. That's enough rambling. We're out of here, guys. Thank you all for tuning in once again. We are your hosts. My name is Trenell.
I'm Todd.
And we will catch you guys next week.
Peace.